Hey guys, what is going on? I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the train wreck that is the 2017 Netflix version of Deathnote. Be warned that there will be spoilers throughout this video. I'll try to leave this as much of a standalone review as I can, but it's really hard when they're very much intertwined, and this is such a poorly done rendition of the original. Basically, there is no guarantee that I'll be able to separate them, but I will do as much as I can to separate Netflix the anime from Netflix this piece of crap movie. To start, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the casting of this film being attributed to whitewashing, changing the location of Japan to Seattle to make it a little bit more relatable, which I can kind of understand, but by changing the location to accommodate your audience, you lose some of the culture that surrounds the original story. For example, by setting it outside of Japan, the name Kira just becomes some weird nickname that's given to them to try and offset it to say, oh, the killings are happening in Japan. Whereas in the anime, the name Kira stems from the play on words of the English word killer, as Japanese people would say it, Kira. That sort of detail is lost by changing the setting, and granted, it's a minor, small little detail, but it helps immerse you into the story of what is going on. That's not the biggest upset that got the most people going though. The biggest controversy was the casting. In an attempt to make it more relatable to American audiences, they changed Light Yagami to Light Turner. Yeah, Turner as in probably related. Fun fact, Yagami backwards is I'm a gay. And they changed Misa Amane to Mia Sutton. Here's my thought. Take a listen. Even if the argument could be made that there aren't enough good Asian actors that would be able to properly act within these roles, trust me, no amount of acting would be able to redeem this terrible script. Take, for example, this particular scene. Mia asks Light what he's reading, and he's got the Deathnote in his hands.
Deathnote? What is it?
What is what?
Your book?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
To her, that's fine, whatever, I don't really care. If you don't tell me, that's it. And all of a sudden, Light flips 180 because of the power of boners.
Do you really want to know?
Sure.
Okay, then I'll tell you.
Seriously, I'm not making this up. The script is plagued with so many scenes that just don't make sense. There's not enough time in the world to go over all of these little things within the script. But here are two more quick examples of things that I didn't like.
Sleep is key to strong thought.
Yes. Would you mind singing a song for me?
Of course.
I know I haven't seen the anime in a while, but I don't remember seeing Watari sing a song for L, just because whatever reason. Maybe it was to keep him calm, whatever, I don't know, but I don't remember it being done in the anime, which is really weird to have that particular scene in this movie.
A subject can be influenced for no more than 2 days leading up to his death.
2 days. Your fingers are huge.
What? Are you kidding me? Is it for comedic relief? Is it for, I don't know, but it doesn't fit in the overall theme of the movie of like, your fingers are huge, like, what? I mean, the script was really wonky, but it was also someone's decision to add gore to this film. And by that, I mean there's unnecessary gore. I get that this film wants to ride that trend of gore porn and all those, you know, horror movies like Saw and Hostel back in 2005, where, you know, there's so much gore that your body can't handle it. I mean, I don't watch many horror films, but I feel like this trend has passed. I mean, Saw went until a while, but eventually died down, and it's past. These types of films aren't as prevalent as they once were. Honestly, as a filmmaker and as an editor, there's a lot that you can do with the power of editing that would make this just as powerful without showcasing so much gore. If you don't show us the gore, the mind can create something that's almost as gruesome as what you would have shown on screen. It's an implied gore versus actual gore. Take, for example, this scene from The Dark Knight.
And why so serious?
Through the power of editing alone, the music, the reaction shots, all of that help emphasize the damage that is done. Watching Gamble get his mouth cut open isn't shown on the screen at all, but the way it's done is it's implied. I think in that particular case, bringing that same concept over into this film would have done a lot better than showing actual gore. I mean, let's try recutting the scene where what's-his-face gets his head chopped off and decapitated by a ladder. So here's the original scene. And now let's try something. I'm gonna recut this in my own way, showcasing what could be done. So it's less gory and there's more of an implication of violence, but it works, or at least I feel that it works. Do you guys think it works? Let me know. And it's your mind that will imagine how bad the actual accident is. All right, but that's deep filmmaker talk. Let's move on from the gore and the editing to the soundtrack. I feel like lately there's this huge resurgence of films that have old school music littered throughout them. Take for example Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and even Baby Driver. And I'm sure there's many others, but those are just the top examples that I can think of. But in those movies, the music works to fit the theme and how everything plays out overall. In this one, it doesn't work. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter is from a different time, and that's reflected by the music that he listens to and the technology that he listens to it on. In Baby Driver, the character Baby has a hearing problem, so he needs to constantly listen to music to drown out the ringing in his head. And that's why the music is so important in that movie. Here, it just feels awkwardly shoehorned in. So yes, the music does not fit at all. The biggest example that I can think of this is towards the end. When Light's dad realizes who Light really is and all the tension is building up, the dramatic music cuts out suddenly. Then, The Power of Love by Air Supply starts playing. This song continues to play even as the tension continues to rise and rise and rise. Final plot points are revealed, the sequel is set up, and the song still plays even after the credits start rolling. This song, I can definitely say, is not the type of song that you should have in a thriller movie. Maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt, it's to emphasize the relationship between James Turner and his son Light, or maybe emphasize the love between Mia and Light, but that relationship kind of went to crap at the end. Or maybe the love between Light and Elle and how they need each other in the end, the power of love? I'm not sure, but the one thing I am sure about is how much of a bad choice of song this is. And that's just one instance. I mean, there's many more 80s songs that they litter throughout the movie that just doesn't make sense to how the theme of the story is played out. So when I was watching the film, the first 15 minutes stood out to me a lot. And that's because I realized that there were a lot of Dutch angles. Now, what Dutch angles are they're when the camera is like turned slightly to give you that uneasy feeling of something's gonna happen in the scene. But they did it so much that instead of getting an uneasy feeling in the scene, I got an uneasy feeling with the film. There were so many other noticeable things with the camera work, and it just was weird to me. Director's choices, camera, whatever. But that was the main thing that I had noticed that really threw me off about how much time was put into the camera work. Okay, so I'm bagging on this film a lot, but at one point I did start to just let go and enjoy the film for what it was a little bit. That was probably at the start of Act 2 when they first introduced Elle. Once he was introduced, the tension slowly started to build, and then you would soon see the battle of wits between Elle and Light, and I became engulfed in the film because of that. But then I realized how bad of a film it was, and I stopped caring. Even at the end, the credits removed me from whatever immersion of the film was left. They included quote-unquote bloopers in a drama/thriller. Now granted, they did this to showcase the actor portraying their character, but they didn't need to do that with bloopers, especially to fit the theme of this drama thriller type movie. I guess they kind of did it to lighten the mood and showcase the actors, but they could have done it in a different way where they showcase a particular scene from the film that the actor was performing next to the actor's name instead of showcasing them doing bloopers. I don't know, it could have been done differently. I think what this film lacks is focus. It's not sure what it wants to be. Its parent told it when it wanted to grow up, you could be whatever you wanted to be, and it chose to be a lot of different things. Does it want to be a thriller where Elle and Light are in a constant battle of wits, or, well, lack of wits? Does it want to be an 80s throwback music video like Guardians of the Galaxy, Baby Driver and stuff like that push album sales of these old songs forward? Does it want to be a comedy, especially with scenes like this? All I know is that this film is trying to set up for a sequel. I'm curious as to if Netflix will get the money to actually do it, but we'll see what happens in time. Honestly, this film is an experience. As an adaptation, it's not very faithful to the source. As a standalone film, well, it's also very poorly done. The dialogue pushes plot points forward for the sake of moving the story forward. The camera work could be done better. The soundtrack doesn't match the film at all. Lots of little details here and there that could be improved upon. I'd suggest just going out and seeing the film and checking it out on your own accord and not taking my word for it. Go check it out, form your own opinion, see what you think, and post about it. But if you did see it, what did you think? Was it good? Was it bad? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.